Hey there, guys. So I want to thank you for joining today's live stream. As always, the midweek, midday Wednesday live stream. So, like I always do, I sort of mention a few sort of announcements or anything that's going on as far as my business and my coaching, things of that nature. Here pretty soon, I am still going to be doing a 14-day free trial. So definitely watch out for that. Not promoted it just yet. I've had a lot of different things going on, trying to manage a few things. It's been a tad busy for me recently, but I am still going to be offering that pretty soon. So just keep that in mind. You'll see likely some promotional pictures that I'll put on Facebook as well as in the Facebook group. So just watch out for that whenever that comes out. As far as anything outside of that, I don't think there's anything in particular. Everything's continuing to grow. I thank you guys again for sharing my photos, my videos, anything that I share that's very much appreciated. I thank you for that. Um, but with all that being said, I pretty much think that's it. If anything else comes up, of course, I'll mention it in future videos or I'll share it in a post or things of that nature. But let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. So, as far as for today's topic, we're going to be talking about progression. And this topic in particular, I'm sort of going to sort of expand upon this in another live stream coming up next Wednesday. So it's kind of going to be two parts in a way. But what we're going to talk today about mostly is about progression. Next week, I do have a live stream that I have sort of set up that's going to be talking. We're going to be talking a little bit about sort of fitness metrics, keeping track of your fitness metrics. That's going to be the next one. But today, we're going to specifically talk about progression and why progression is important as it relates to your fitness and health goals. So, progression is a fundamental concept in achieving fitness goals because it drives continuous improvement, challenges your body to adapt, and ensures consistent results over time. So I've mentioned this over and over again, but the reason why I mention it so often is because it's really important. A lot of individuals lack the sort of, as far as reaching their fitness goals, why they're not seeing results, they lack that ability to go through a progression. So you need to be able to progress in order to get to your fitness and health goals. So sort of keep that in mind. A lot of times that's why a lot of people don't see results is because they're not doing proper progression with their workouts. So this is a big thing, and this is how you get to your ultimate goal that you're seeking. This goes, hand in hand with muscle gain and fat loss. You have specific things that you need to progress. Like, for example, when you're talking about muscle gain, of course, you want to progress, sort of increasing the intensity, increasing the weight over time, and maybe sort of increasing the duration of the workout as well. Now, when we're talking about fat loss, of course, it's a gradual process as well. So you sort of want to keep track of, your food intake gradually over time. You don't want to just completely cut everything out. You want to sort of gradually sort of adapt to that new diet, adapt to the workouts over time. You want to start with low intensity workouts, and then when you're ready, move on to higher intensity. So both of it goes hand in hand. No matter what your goal is, you're likely going to go through a specific progression to get there. So this kind of goes into what I was talking about just a second ago, but stimulating growth and improvement. So progression involves gradually increasing the demands placed on your body during workouts. This prompts your muscles, cardiovascular system, and other physiological processes to adapt and become stronger, leading to improved fitness levels. So this goes hand in hand again with muscle gain and fat loss. Whether you're doing, strength training or cardio, going through progression is going to help you get to where you want to be. If you're wanting to help with your, sort of increase your heart health or have better heart health, doing cardiovascular workouts, cardio based workouts is going to help you. But when you start them, you don't want to run a mile immediately. You want to go through a progression or maybe you're doing interval training, or maybe you're just walking for maybe 15 to 20 minutes a day. You want to go through progression through any sort of workout routine that you're doing. So again, it doesn't really matter, you know, this isn't just particularly for muscle gain. It works the same way whether you're focusing on cardio, whether you're focusing on maybe stability training. You still have to start with easier workouts before you move on to more intermediate and then advanced based workouts. Another thing that is very important when it comes with progression, and this is another thing that is sort of going back to a lot of people, what they lack with their workout plans is that they don't change them. They keep them the same over years or months at a time. But in a progression, you're going to see your workout changes over so many weeks or maybe over a month period, rather than you staying consistently with that particular workout plan for a couple months or for a year. You don't want to do that. You want to gradually change the intensity, gradually change the duration. And this kind of goes into my coaching plan, as how I train my clients. And I'm not going to sort of sell my plan here, but basically, a lot of the way that I structure my workout plans for my clients is that they go through progression. They go through phases of their workouts. So, for example, when you're starting with your workout plan, really, this goes for any client that I work with starting out. I always, of course, do an assessment to see their flexibility and posture. But then from there, what I usually do is they'll start with a stability based phase first. And a lot of these workouts are a lot of low impact, involves some stretching, as well as just getting used to proper movement patterns. So, going back to this, as talking about the prevention of plateaus, that's just sort of wanted to mention that I do structure my workouts in phases, not only to sort of prevent the plateaus, but of course to lead to that progression and lead to that particular goal. So, as your body becomes accustomed to a certain level of activity, it may reach a plateau where gains in strength, endurance, or other fitness parameters slow down or stop. So progression disrupts these plateaus by introducing new challenges that force your body to respond and continue improving. So, you know, having a sort of dynamic plan and having a progression not only is going to help you over time, but it's going to sort of change things up for you. It's going to allow your body to adapt to new workouts, adapt to, new movement patterns, but it's also not going to be boring. You're going to be going, for a set of weeks, you're going to be doing a set of workouts. And then for the next set of weeks, you're going to be doing a different set of workouts. So that's another thing, is that it keeps it from being boring, as well as at the same time it's helping your body to adapt to new challenges. So progression based on goals. So I sort of discussed this a little bit like at towards the beginning of this stream here, but let's talk about muscle gain progression. So for muscle gain, gradually increasing the weight you lift stimulates muscle growth. Similarly, increasing resistance and intensity in strength training leads to greater muscle strength and power. When you subject your muscles to increased resistance through progression, your body responds by repairing and rebuilding muscle fibers to handle the increased demands. This results in that muscle growth. This is very essential when it comes to a muscle gain goal. And you sort of, again, even though, I may have a client that's, starting with muscle gain or has muscle gain for their particular goal, but when they start out, I'm not going to be throwing weightlifting exercises in there immediately. They have to go through being able to master basic movement patterns. Once you master those movement patterns, it allows you to adapt to, maintaining your form when you're going into increasing your weights or increasing your intensities. It allows you to sort of stay in that particular workout for an extended period of time because you have more endurance, because you mastered your basic, stability, and you've gone into another phase, and you're already at the phase where you can sort of, you're able to lift proper weights even though they're heavier, and you're going to notice that strength over time with that progression. So just keep that in mind, that in order to get muscle gain and in order to reach, you know, more strength, you have to go through progression over time. You have to gradually increase your intensity, gradually increase the weights you're lifting. However, when you're gradually increasing that, you do need to make sure you're having proper form and that you're able to go through the range of motion in a slow and controlled manner to where you're efficiently targeting each muscle. So, sort of keep that in mind as well. So, fat loss progression, when you lose weight, you want to lose fat, not muscle. So, progressive resistance training, talked about this many times, that resistance training is very beneficial for fat loss. So, progressive resistance training, which involves gradually increasing the weights you lift, can help preserve and even build lean muscle mass while losing fat. This not only improves your overall body composition, but also boosts your metabolism, making it easier to maintain weight loss. So, if you don't incorporate progression into your exercise routine, your body may adapt by breaking down muscle tissue to meet energy needs, which means it's going to you're not going to be targeting the fat, you're going to be going into the muscle and you're going to lose muscle mass. So this can lead to muscle atrophy, which can negatively impact your metabolism and strength. So when you're going in that muscle atrophy stage, then you're going to lose a lot of your strength, your metabolism is going to be lacking, and you're going to gain fat back. So sort of keep that in mind. But again, it's almost in the same vein as muscle gain, however, it's a little bit different. So, progressive resistance training, of course, it's going to help. You're going to build muscle, but once you build that muscle, it's going to help with aiding to lose fat because you're increasing your metabolism. And once you increase your metabolism, you're going to burn calories even at rest more. Not only just exercise, but even when you're just sitting, because you have that more of that muscle mass, you can burn calories faster, no matter what you're doing. But you, of course, have to have a certain amount of muscle to get to that stage. And it is a progression, like I've mentioned. So just keep that in mind. Resistance training is very important when it comes to fat loss, and a lot of people are not aware of that. So just if that's your particular goal, think about doing more weight training into your exercise routine if you're not. It's not just, don't just focus specifically on cardio. Cardio is good, as long as you're having it balanced with resistance training, it would be good for an overall fat loss, workout routine. So just keep these in mind. So, some more tips to keep in mind as it relates to progression. So, progression doesn't mean jumping from one extreme to another. And I've sort of mentioned this already, but you want to gradually increase intensity, weight, or duration of your workouts to allow your body to adapt, reduce the risk of injury. Again, the reason for gradual intensity increases is to prevent injury, prevent that risk of injury. That's the reasoning behind that, is it reduces your risk of, getting hurt. So to promote progress, you need to challenge your body beyond what it's used to. Gradually increase resistance repetitions, gradually increasing resistance, repetitions, or durations to create the necessary stimulus for improvement. So that's sort of what I just discussed. The name of the game, of course, is gradual. You know, whatever you're focused on gradually increasing it, just keep in mind, you don't want to just jump to an extreme. You want to just go through it slowly. It's a process. Don't sort of rush it. Just know that it's a process. And if you go into something too heavy, then you're going to get hurt. So, progression can actually also help with your overall health and your overall well being. So, progressively challenging your body through increased weight intensity or duration helps build strength and endurance, allowing you to perform daily tasks more easily with less fatigue. Progressive overload, where you gradually increase resistance, stimulates muscle growth and bone density, reducing the risk of conditions like osteoporosis. Regularly pushing your limits can improve your metabolic rate and insulin sensitivity, helping to manage weight and reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Gradually increasing cardiovascular exercises like running or cycling improves heart and lung health, enhancing circulation and oxygen delivery to your body tissues. So we're not only just talking about, a particular goal, that you're wanting to work towards, not just physically, but also internally, your health, it's helping you overall. So there's so many different benefits to going through this, progression with your workouts. Not only is going through progression helping reduce the risk of injury, but it also has benefits outside of that, where you're going to be able to perform more daily tasks, you're going to be less fatigued, you're going to be able to sort of prevent these certain health conditions and certain health risks when you're going through a progression with your workouts. So again, keep that in mind, that there's so many various benefits outside of just gaining muscle. Alrighty, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I know this was quite a bit of different sort of topics and pretty detailed as far as, progressing through your workouts. Of course, a lot of it is stuff that I have mentioned previously, increasing the intensity, increase your duration gradually over time. But I do sort of want to constantly mention this, and I tried to add a little bit of interesting things outside of what I may have normally talked about previously, talking about how it can benefit health condition, or benefit and prevent certain health conditions, I should say. So sort of keep all of this in mind. I mention it over and over about progression, progressive overload, because it is what a lot of people lack, is that they just stick to one particular workout routine and they don't change it. You've got to change it. Your body has to adapt to new workouts. You cannot, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to go into a plateau if you constantly stay in this particular workout routine. You've got to challenge yourself. I challenge myself even as a coach. I don't consistently do the same workouts. I change it up. I do stability workouts to just sort of try something different, you know, whether it be, doing Bosu ball workouts. That's great for stability. I do some medicine ball workouts every now and then. I do some medicine ball based workouts. I don't just focus on particularly dumbbells and barbells. I do a lot of different dynamic workouts outside of that. You know, even though my goal is focusing on muscle gain, you would think, I would just focus primarily on dumbbells and barbells, but that's not what I do. I do a lot of different workouts outside of just what you see a lot of times when somebody's focusing on muscle gain, the barbell, dumbbell. There's so many other things that you can challenge and that you can try outside of the traditional sort of workouts. And once you challenge different aspects, challenging your stability is important, you know, especially, like training your core. A lot of people don't train their core as often as they should. There's so many different dynamics to a lot of workouts where you can be more efficient in, a lot of the other, you know, workouts you do, like, dumbbells and barbells. If you do more stability based workouts, it's going to help in that aspect. So, changing it up is very important. It's not just reaching your goal, but it helps in a lot of different aspects, of your overall health as well. So I just wanted to mention all that. I try to mention something a little bit unique that you may not hear often, but it's important, and I think it needs to be said. And I think a lot of people sort of lack that knowledge of progression, of how you should not just stay in the same workout. You need to constantly challenge your body. But I could go on and on about that because I do think it's really important. But that's all I have for you guys today. I really want to thank you for taking the time to watch these live streams. I try to make these as informative, as, detailed, but also digestible as possible. And I also try to make them appealing. So make it not boring, I guess you would say, make it a little bit entertaining. But that's all I have for you guys today. You can check out my website. I am still working on getting a domain to where it doesn't look just like a crazy link. I'm working on that. I haven't gotten my website link or my domain name yet, but I'm planning on doing that in the future, so that it'll probably be like online fitness bp or something like that.com, so it'd be easier. But as of right now, my website link is here at the bottom. So if you just put that in, it should take you directly to my website, and you can check out a little bit about my program. You can sign up to the email list on there, and I'm also adding a bunch of different stuff. You can also, there is a link to where you can go directly to my other live streams, which will link you to YouTube. So you can check that out as well. But that's all I have for you guys today. Again, I want to thank you. I will have another live stream sort of expanding upon this. In the next one, I'm going to be talking a little bit about metrics. So it'll be a little bit detailed as well. But again, I'm going to try to make it a little bit digestible and easy for you to understand. But again, I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you guys in the next live stream.